From the creation of the world, everything has occurred according to the Lord's master plan. The Lord does nothing by accident. Likewise, the establishment and growth of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the Martin, Kentucky area is no accident. It is no accident that there have been many prophets and general authorities visit this area offering prayers and calling the saints to do the Lord's work. It is no accident that the missionaries have been assigned here from the late 1800s until the present to aid in the gathering of the Lord's people. It is no accident that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the Martin, Kentucky area has grown over the years, from a tiny branch to a district, then to a ward, which it is currently. As all of you come home during this glorious Memorial Weekend, we invite you to share in this tribute to the work that has been accomplished in this part of the Lord's vineyard. We urge you to carefully witness or lovingly remember the names and faces of many of those who have played an essential part in the building up the kingdom in this area. And finally, we ask each of you to prayerfully consider what your role can be in the future of this particular marvelous work and wonder. Establishing the church in this area was not an easy task for the early members. They faced hardships and many obstacles. There were no motels or meeting houses at the time. Early missionaries had to seek lodging with local members and sometimes with non-members who opened their homes to them. Member homes were also used for church meetings. There were very few roads, making travel difficult, and communication was often limited to word of mouth. In addition, it was a very rough area with many who were intolerant of new ideas, which often led to persecution. There was even a report of one person being tarred and feathered. Well, in spite of these obstacles, the saints persevered and received rich blessings. And in 1920, under the leadership of William Preacher Bill Flannery, the first chapel was built in Martin on property donated by a lady who was not a member at the time. Some of the early first families of the Martin area were the Crisps, Flannerys, Dinguses, Hayes, Frasers, Hunters, Yates, Branhams, McKinney's, and many others. As the church continued to grow after World War II and missionary work increased, there was a need for a larger meeting house. As a result, a new building was erected across from what is now the local hospital. It was the biggest and most modern chapel in Kentucky at the time of its dedication in 1954. Such dedicated missionaries as Hiram Andrews and Ray Hahn Glebe, as well as such missionary couples as Hatches, Allreds, and Websters, were largely responsible for baptizing and reactivating many saints. This expanded growth generated the need for this larger building. However, the inability to sustain economic growth in the area forced many people to leave to find employment. This in turn also made it difficult to continue the growth in church membership. The years between 1970 and 2000 were again characterized by another major period of enhanced growth and organization. It was in 1981 that Elder Mark E. Peterson asked Brother Pete Grigsby Jr. to organize and lead the newly formed Martin, Kentucky district, made up of Martin, Paintsville, Hazard, and Boldman branches. Under District President Grigsby's leadership, the church gained greater presence in the area, and a period of expansion again ensued. Soon there came a need for a larger meeting house. Accordingly, with this need came the challenges of finding available flat land, having the needed financial resources, and the requiring of the local saints to meet the spiritual demands of the project. In the 1980s, many miracles occurred, making it possible for the popular 6.2 acres of land along Route 80 to be purchased by the church, and a $1.2 million facility was constructed. Martin became part of the Huntington, West Virginia stake, and Martin became a ward. Many members have been called to lead and serve the Martin branch, Martin District, and later Martin Ward. Under strong leadership of many early missionaries and local priesthood holders such as Brother William Bill Flannery and Brother D.M. Doc Hutchinson, a strong church presence was established in this area for future growth and expansion. In the years that followed the formation of the early church, the Martin area was led by notable branch presidents that included Hatch Branham, Jack Hutchinson, John M. Wheeler, and Jerry Grigsby. In later years, the Martin District was formed and led by such leaders as President Pete Grigsby Jr., Hobart Spurlock, William Bill Hughes, David Turner, Gene Pace, and Eddie Patton. As the Martin area became a ward, inspired leadership has been provided by bishops such as Pete Grigsby Jr., Ken Carrier, Richard Salisbury, Kevin Osborne, and currently Kevin Spurlock. Many of these modern leaders are descendants of the early saints who established the church in this area. Others were brought into the church by the efforts of dedicated missionaries. As faithful members continue to perform missionary work, provide service, and minister to others, the Martin area will continue to flourish. Most importantly, there must be regular temple attendance so that we can receive our endowments and complete the ordinances of our kindred dead. Historically, this was not an easy task. Due to distance and financial considerations, the early saints had little opportunity to attend the temple, as it was more than 1,800 miles one way, all the way out west to Salt Lake City, Utah. Well, in 1968, ground was broken and the construction of the Washington, D.C. temple began. This was the first temple to be built east of the Mississippi River since the Nauvoo, Illinois temple in 1846. After the temple was dedicated by Spencer W. Kimball in 1974, it was now possible for more saints to attend the temple, even though this was still a round trip of more than 900 miles. The Martin, Kentucky saints longed for the day when there would be a temple that was even closer, and after much church growth and sacrifice, their prayers were answered. A temple was built in Kentucky on a 4-acre plot of land adjoining the Crestwood, Kentucky ward, located just outside Louisville. Saints can now easily be at the temple in 3 hours or less. With the perseverance of enough saints, perhaps, just perhaps, the 4-acre lot adjoining the Martin ward may someday be the construction site of a new Eastern Kentucky temple. From the very beginning, the saints have witnessed the hand of the Lord and His servants in the development and growth of Martin area. Many prophets, apostles, and other general authorities have visited, such as Harold B. Lee, Ezra Taft Benson, David O. McKay, Mark E. Peterson, Marion G. Romney, A. Theodore Tuttle, Rex C. Reeve, Robert L. Backman, and S. Dilworth Young, to name only a few. This is a special area, and we are a chosen people, chosen to do the Lord's work in this part of His vineyard. So remember, nothing happens by accident with the Lord. He has a plan for all of us, and we have been called to serve.